unemployment in the country decreased slightly in the second quarter. Stats SA data shows the official unemployment rate decreased by 0.3 of a percent point to 32.6% in the quarter rather. Unemployment improved marginally from 32.9% in the first quarter. The survey shows the number of employed persons increased by 154,000. Now, the latest increase in employment was recorded in construction, followed by trade and government services. Decreases in employment were recorded in the manufacturing, finance and transport sectors. Unemployment, however, remains high, with economic activity constrained by the electricity crisis as well as logistics challenges. Stats SA data shows the number of young people below the age of 35 that are not employed or training also went down slightly by 1.5% to 43.4% in the second quarter. Right, now let's bring in Dr. Frederich Kristen, School of Economics at the University of Johannesburg, just to weigh in on these latest developments and numbers. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon, Doctor. Let's weigh in then, on these latest stats. The number of people with jobs rose to 16.3 million in April to June, almost reaching pre-COVID levels of 16.4 million. What can we contribute to the slight improvement in unemployment, and is this cause to celebrate?
Yes, thank you very much, and good afternoon to the listeners and watchers. Thank you for having me. So yes, it's quite interesting. I think the unemployment reduction, I think there is a bit of optimism in the air about it, but I think it needs to be understood from the harsh realities of South Africa's current economic condition, which is currently still struggling with a very low growth path.
So what, in our economy, as you say, facing a number of challenges, what would it take for the economy to absorb job seekers?
Yeah, so there's a lot of possibilities here, and a few things have been outlined in terms of how you need to go out of this low growth path. And I think one of the most important things is the private-public partnership, which is so important, and to create this inclusive environment for business. I think that is still South Africa's major problem, is the fact that we still need to create a more inclusive environment for business to come in, small, medium business enterprises to come in and really create the growth. Also, what you can see is in South Africa, the middle class is struggling, and this is due to high interest rates and high inflation rates. But again, the middle class is normally seen as the drivers for economic growth and job creation, since they are the small businesses that really create the jobs in the country.
Let's talk about this now. 5 of the 9 sectors looked at by Stats SA saw employment increases. Just talk to us about where the latest gains in employment were seen in some of these industries.
Yes, so within the construction industry, trade industry and social service industry, there was significant gains. Again, the trade industry is probably due to the fact that there's an expansion in the world's economies. So post-COVID-19, the world is now again recovering from this pandemic, and growth trajectories are quite strong in the outside world, which actually makes South Africa's trade increasing. Since we're trade predominant or trade dominant, it actually leads to increased economic growth and job creation in those sectors.
What are some of the prospects, Doctor, that you are seeing, from a projection perspective in terms of, the unemployment and the economy as a whole, I would imagine, in the country, in as far as the electricity crisis is concerned? And I would add also some of the logistical challenges that we are seeing.
Yes, if you look at the South African economy, and just before I talk about electricity crisis, but South Africa's economy there's some structural flaws still in the economy given the high skills gap, because we have such great demand for skilled workers, but we sit with an oversupply of unskilled workers. So education is still the long run injection into creating economic growth for the country, but in short run is really sorting out these issues that restrict business from entering the country and really investing. And again, the energy crisis mainly demotivates business, and that's what it's so important to solve this issue, not just for people living in South Africa, but also for outside investors, to show them that we are in control of these issues and we can solve them quickly, efficiently, and then promote business investment again in the country.
Just speaking about outside investment, what are some of the issues and concerns they have outside the energy crisis, of course, that we're experiencing?
Yes, so again, other issues include crime in South Africa, the corruption in South Africa, which we also know about. But one important thing from an economic point of view is the high inequality. Again, the high inequality in South Africa paints the picture of a society that can easily become unstable, as we saw in the 2021 social unrest events. And again, the high inequality needs to be reduced. And that's the one thing when we look at unemployment rates, we need to look at how the unemployment reduction actually contributes to lowering inequality. Because if it doesn't, it's not really going to assist us in addressing probably South Africa's most important issue, which is inequality.